Good evening. Ultimately, education in its real sense is the pursuit of truth. It is an endless journey through knowledge and enlightenment. Welcome to BMC News Live in English, brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. I am Vinod Narayanan, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines. His Highness Sheikh Nasser chaired Royal Humanitarian Foundation Board meeting and directed to continue implementing royal directives on humanitarian work. Action taken against unlicensed establishment acting as employment office. Residents not allowed to hire maids without license in UAE. Saudi Arabia to localize consultancy professions. Asteroid's path altered in NASA's first test of planetary defense system. Supreme Court of India to review Modi government's note ban exercise. Sought affidavit from Central and Reserve Bank of India. News in detail. His Highness Sheikh Nasser chaired Royal Humanitarian Foundation Board meeting and directed to continue implementing royal directives on humanitarian work. His Majesty the King's personal representative for humanitarian work and youth affairs, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, has extended thanks and appreciation to His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the Honorary President of the Royal Humanitarian Foundation, for his constant support for the RHF's humanitarian work and unwavering care for orphans, widows and all social sectors in order to provide decent life for all. His Highness Sheikh Nasser also praised His Majesty the King's kind justice towards brotherly and friendly countries and people, reflecting the fundamental stances of the kingdom's leadership, government and people towards various countries within His Majesty's efforts to consolidate global solidarity based on the fraternal and humanitarian bonds between Bahrain and various people of the world. His Highness Sheikh Nasser also extended deepest thanks and gratitude to His Majesty King Hamad following the issuance of a royal order in restructuring the RHF's Board of Trustees under His Highness Sheikh Nasser's chairmanship, pledging that everyone shall do their utmost in order to live up to the royal expectations and achieve His Majesty the King's visions on ensuring the welfare for the Bahraini people, alleviating the living burdens of families and developing the performance of the RHF. Oil Minister inaugurated second international conference and exhibition on spills, seas and environment. Minister of Oil and Environment and Special Envoy for Climate Affairs, Dr. Mohammed bin Mubarak bin Daina, inaugurated the second international conference and exhibition on spills, clean seas and environment under the theme Sustainable Clean Seas. The conference includes more than 500 participants, 60 international speakers and 30 companies representing more than 20 countries. It aims to discuss the most important topics related to oil spills, exchanging knowledge and experiences and reviewing best practices in oil spills and environmental preservation. Action taken against unlicensed establishment acting as employment office. The Labour Market Regulatory Authority, in cooperation with the General Directorate of Criminal Investigation and Forensic Science of the Ministry of Interior, identified an unlicensed establishment that acted as an employment office. The establishment has been facilitating the entry of expatriates into Bahrain while promising false high-paying jobs, in turn rendering them vulnerable to exploitation. The LMRA revealed that the establishment has posted several false job opportunities on various social media platforms, then facilitated expatriates' entry into the kingdom in return for money. The unlicensed establishment was traced and the LMRA has taken the necessary action prior to referring them to the public prosecution for further legal actions. The LMRA has reaffirmed its commitment to monitor the labour market through documenting any illegal business activity in order to ensure tackling non-compliant businesses. It urged the public to cooperate with government entities by refraining from dealing with unlicensed employment offices. Bahrain participated in Democracy and Human Rights meeting. Shura Council's second Deputy Chairperson Jamila Ali Salman participated in the Committee on Democracy and Human Rights meeting, which was held within the 145th Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union meetings in Rwanda. She noted that Bahrain has an integrated legislative, judicial and executive system that cooperate to fight human trafficking, expressing her pride in the efforts achieved by the kingdom in this field. Jamila said that Bahrain takes an approach that is based on preserving human rights and respecting all relevant international laws and conventions. in addition to its keenness on the continuous development of its legislative, procedural and administrative tools to keep up with the developments of this crime. Labour Market Regulatory Authority conducted inspection campaign in Muharraq. The Labour Market Regulatory Authority conducted a joint inspection campaign in the Muharraq Governorate in cooperation with the Nationality, Passports and Residence Affairs of the Ministry of Interior and the Muharraq Police Directorate. The campaign resulted in issuing several offences related to violations of labour market and residency laws, and a number of arrests were made. The LMR stressed its commitment to report violations through the implementation of an intensive and continuous work plan in different governorates in cooperation with the relevant authorities. The authority called on the public to report any complaints related to violations of the labour market and irregular employment. Foreign Minister chaired Mohammed bin Mubarak Al Khalifa Academy for Diplomatic Studies and board meeting. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Mohammed bin Mubarak Al Khalifa Academy for Diplomatic Studies, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, chaired yesterday the third meeting of the Academy's Board of Trustees in 2022. The Academy's most significant outcomes, plans and projects in diplomatic training were highlighted. The Minister praised the Academy's outstanding efforts in creating and implementing various programs and events for Bahraini diplomats in the professional and academic aspects of various diplomatic, consular, administrative and legal affairs in support of the Kingdom's foreign policy objectives. Bahrain participated in GCC Assistant Attorney General's meeting. Attorney General Dr. Ali bin Fadl Al Buyanin participated in the 14th GCC Assistant Attorney General's meeting. Gulf Cooperation Council Secretary General Dr. Naif Fallah Al Hajraf was present. The Attorney General praised the efforts to implement the decisions of the public prosecutors to reach a unified work system that achieves the vision of GCC leaders, strengthens relations, and supports their capabilities by unifying regulations into laws. He praised international judicial cooperation and the efforts made in confronting crimes and prosecuting the perpetrators in accordance with the rules of cooperation. Bahrain's public prosecution presented its successful social initiative as an extension of a humanitarian nature to its competencies established by national laws regarding protection and care towards children, women or families in providing a healthy living and preventing a victim of crime as a result of social or personal circumstances and domestic violence. Youth Ministry signed agreement with Pearl Initiative. Youth and Sports Minister Ayman Tawfiq Al Moyed signed an agreement with the independent non-profit organization Pearl Initiative to spread a corporate culture based on accountability and transparency in the Gulf region. The agreement stipulates the two parties' support for the involvement of Bahraini youth in the business field to spread a culture of corporate governance practices, exchange ideas and best practices that entrepreneurs can adopt and effectively implement in their businesses. It aims to invite youth business persons and business leaders to provide opportunities for networking and familiarization with the corporate ecosystem. Today's COVID updates. COVID updates brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. Now we will be back after a very short break. The 16th branch of Megamart and Macromart supermarkets in Bahrain has opened in Sahla. The best offers are available to the customers at affordable rates. Everyone is welcome. During and around the opening day, a variety of fish including salmon, meat and dairy products, roastery, frozen items, food and non-food items, groceries, fruits and vegetables, electronics, garments and ready-to-eat food items are available to the customers at affordable rates. Hearty welcome to all. Megamart and Macromart, your favorite shopping destination.
the exclusive franchisee of Cochin Kala Bhavan in Bahrain. With over a decade of existence in Bahrain, exclusive online regular classes have started for classical dances, music vocal, instrumental music, cinematic dance, Kathak, Zumba body fitness, karate and yoga, drawing, arts and craft, children's theatre. For more information, please call 3909 6845 3909 4806 3885 2397 or visit www.bahrainmediacity.com.
Saudi Arabia's trust OPEC Plus Group. Welcome back. Saudi Arabia stressed OPEC Plus Group's pivotal role in achieve oil markets balance and stability. The custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, chaired the cabinet session held on Tuesday afternoon at Al Salam Palace in Jeddah. In a statement to the Saudi press agency, Acting Minister of Media Dr. Majid Al Kasabi said that the cabinet touched upon the outcomes of the 33rd OPEC and non-OPEC ministerial meeting, noting the pivotal role played by OPEC Plus Group in achieving balance and stability in the global oil markets, thus supporting the global economy. The cabinet stated that Riyadh's hosting of a regional office of Airports Council International Asia Pacific reflects Saudi Arabia's progress in the aviation sector globally in line with the objectives of Saudi Vision 2030 concerning attracting international companies and organizations to establish their headquarters in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Residents not allowed to hire maids without license in UAE. Under the new law of domestic helpers that is set to come into effect on December 15th, employers are prohibited from hiring household workers unless they are licensed to do so. The authorities clarified in a statement on Tuesday. Licensed recruitment agents and officers will have to follow a set of stringent rules which were put in place to safeguard the welfare of domestic helpers, aiming to regulate the employment of household workers in the UAE. The new law lays down all the rights and responsibilities of all parties involved, from the helpers to the recruiters and the employers. Under the law, recruiters are not allowed to accept a commission from domestic helpers, either by obtaining work or incurring any expenses. Agents must also provide helpers with a booklet that contains details of their wages or other related information to ensure that they receive the correct wages. Employers, on the other hand, must provide suitable living accommodations, provide meals and appropriate clothing, as well as the workers were hired on a full-time basis and not on temporary contracts, except if agreed otherwise. Saudi Arabia to localize consultancy professions. Minister of Human Resources and Social Development Ahmed Al-Raji issued on Tuesday an order to Saudize all professions in the consulting sector. In a statement on his Twitter account, Al-Raji stressed that the decision aims to provide stimulating and protective job opportunities for male and female citizens, as well as to raise the level of their participation in the labor market and enhance their contribution to the kingdom's economic system. The minister did not reveal details, including the timing of the implementation of the Saudization decision in the consultancy sector. It is noteworthy that a royal order has been issued 3 years ago, banning all government departments and agencies from engaging foreign consultancies unless in exceptional circumstances where no local expertise available. All government firms have also been directed to seek local advisors before approaching foreign consulting firms. Asteroids' paths altered in NASA's first test of planetary defense system. A spacecraft NASA deliberately crashed into an asteroid last month succeeded in nudging the rocky moonlet from its natural path into a faster orbit, marking the first time humanity has altered the motion of a celestial body, the US Space Agency has announced. The $330 million proof-of-concept mission, which was 7 years in development, also represented the world's first test of planetary defense system designed to prevent a potential doomsday meteorite collision with Earth, Reuters reported. Findings of telescope observations unveiled at a NASA news briefing in Washington confirmed the suicide test flight of the DART spacecraft on September 26 achieved its primary objective, changing the direction of an asteroid through sheer kinetic force. Astronomical measurements over the past 2 weeks showed that target asteroid was bumped slightly closer to the larger parent asteroid, its orbits, and that its orbital period was shortened by 32 minutes, NASA scientists said. Supreme Court of India to review Modi government's note ban exercise, sought affidavit from Central and Reserve Bank of India. The Supreme Court on Wednesday said it will look into the decision-making process behind the demonetization exercise carried out by the Narendra Modi government in 2016. The Apex Court asked the Central and the Reserve Bank of India to file detailed affidavits. A 5-judge constitution bench headed by Justice S.N. Nazir will hear the case next on November 9th. The bench said when an issue arises before a constitution bench, it is its duty to answer. The bench said that while it is aware of the limitations of judicial review of government policy decisions, but will have to examine the 2016 demonetization decision to decide whether the issue has become a mere academic exercise. Attorney General R. Venkataramani said unless the High Demonetization Bank Notes Act passed in 1978 is challenged in a proper perspective, the issue will essentially remain academic. The Supreme Court bench said in order to declare whether the exercise is academic or infructuous, it needs to examine the matter since both sides are not agreeable. The Apex Court was hearing a bunch of petitions challenging the demonetization exercise when the government had scrapped Rs 500 and Rs 1000 currency notes on October 12th. With that, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. every day. I'm Vinod Narayan signing off from BMC News Live. Good night.